Good afternoon, distinguished guests, officials of 𝐻𝒃𝒂, and ladies and gentlemen. Before I start the presentation, I want to mention that I'm not a professional speaker or professional presenter, but I'm trying my best to illustrate what we have done under this pilot program, 𝐻𝒃𝒂's Tuna Longline Pilot, establishing a model for export quality tuna. Now here, I would like to say a little bit about myself. Actually, I've lived in the US for 30 years. I'm a US citizen, but I was born to a fisher family in Sri Lanka, so I'm very familiar with the fishing industry. I have about 25 years experience in handling, especially tuna and swordfish in the US market. A few years back, I got connected with my partner, Harshvardhan, sitting over there, and he invited me to visit India in 2024 in the hope of developing a system to send sashimi-grade tuna to US market. And I was there in 𝐻𝒃𝒂 for about a week, then witnessed some unloadings of tuna and swordfish. I was satisfied. Then I went back to Sri Lanka. In 2025 January, I came with a professional grader in the hope of exporting some sashimi-grade tuna to USA. I was there about 4.5 months until the season ended in April 20th. Unfortunately, I was not able to get one single fish that was suitable for US market. Then me and him discussed what is the solution. Then I told him that Sri Lanka has a very good deep water long line system that might be the answer to Andhra Pradesh. At that time, Andhra was doing shallow water long lining, but fish quality was not good. So we decided to implement this long line project and acquired 2 long line vessels, hoping to do deep water tuna long line fishing in Visakhapatnam. But the problem was we didn't have skilled personnel, people who had training or knew how to do this deep water long line fishery. And the equipment was not available, like hydraulic winches, some long line equipment was not there. The other issue was communication equipment. We were about to plan to go about 150, 200 miles. The communication equipment they have in 𝐻𝒃 only work up to 30, 40 miles. So we needed satellite phones or SSB radio. The access was not there. While we were facing so many obstacles, even we were discouraged. Same time, 𝐻𝒃𝒂 came up with this pilot project on quality enhancement of tuna and allied fishes. And we made an application. We became the first participant of this pilot program. That is the inception of 𝐻𝒃𝒂's Tuna Longline Pilot, establishing a models for export quality tuna. That is how I ended up in India. Now, 𝐻𝒃𝒂's Tuna Longline Pilot project. Here, before I move into the explanation, I would like to mention that I want to offer my sincere thanks to the officials of 𝐻𝒃𝒂 for the outstanding support they have given us in getting this pilot program off the ground. I have worked with different fisheries departments in different countries in Central America. If I name Mexico, Belize, Nicaragua, Bahamas, to name few. But the support I received from your government officials and this 𝐻𝒃𝒂 has been outstanding. I want to especially thank them. Now next, we are moving to the pilot project. Objectives of 𝐻𝒃𝒂 and ours are similar, so I'm just highlighting them. Establishing a sustainable tuna long line fishery in India. That is 𝐻𝒃𝒂's objective. Develop value-added products. Through this fishery, you will get some high-quality fish. With that, you can develop some value-added products. Technology transfer and training. When we do deep water long lining, there are some equipments like hydraulic winches. That's a new addition to Indian technology. And also, we are bringing skilled expert trainers from Sri Lanka in India to train Indian fishermen on board. Improve livelihood of fishing community. By doing this, of course, livelihood of fishing community is going to be improved. And then increase export volumes. By getting good quality fish, you are automatically going to have increased export volumes. Produce sashimi-grade tuna. That is as a company, that is our goal. We want to make sashimi-grade tuna in India, send it to USA. That's our goal as a company. Then market recognition for Indian sashimi-grade tuna. As far as I know, myself, I have a lot of customers in the US. There is no recognition for Indian tuna in USA. It's all Seychelles, Sri Lanka, Tanzania, South Africa, Australia. but we want to make a name for Indian sashimi tuna. Next, this is some equipment we use in the vessel, and equipment on board. We have foreign trainers on board, like 4 foreign trainers training Indian fishermen. Then AI transponder, satellite phones, chill tanks for pre-chilling the fish, live bait tanks to carry live baits, fish handling tools, long line system, hydraulic winch, and a vessel lock. Now, this hydraulic winch is very important because I have never seen in India this type of hydraulic winch. I'm going to explain in the next slide. With the long line system we have, what are we doing with that? Now here, deep sea long line system. This long line system is built specially for deep water tuna long lining. Now the main line we use here, 2.5 millimeter thick. If there are any fishermen, they know in Visakhapatnam they are using 1.7 millimeter because they are fishing in the shallow water. We are using branch line 1.7, that is also for deep sea fishing. In Visakhapatnam, they are using it for shallow water. We are using radio buoys, snaps, and swivels and hooks. Now here, in India, I've seen they are tying the hook to the line with a knot. Here we are using swivels and hooks and a hydraulic winch. This is the most important part. Now in Visakhapatnam, the long line that they existed, they are doing shallow water fishing, pulling the line by hand. It takes long time, like sometimes 10, 15, 20 hours to pull the line. You can predict the time. Here we are using a hydraulic winch to pull the line faster, efficiently. Especially when you go in the deep water, you can pull it by hand. So we are using a hydraulic winch to pull the line. That is the new equipment we are using in this Tuna Longline project. An auto line grinder. That's actually when the line comes, automatically drop into this bucket. If you see in the picture, that is actually speeding up the process. Instead, in here, 3 people have to walk on the line. In this system, 1 man sits in front of the winch, he handles everything. Handling the fish, automatically line goes to the bucket, everything is done by 1 single person. Now fishing. On the fishing, onboard training of Indian fishermen. Now these trainers we are bringing, they are training Indian fishermen on board on every aspect of longline fishing. Fishing, building fishing gear, and onboard fish processing, and shelling, and preserving, transporting, the whole thing. Fishing ground. No, the first one is trip duration. Now we are planning to do actually 10 to 14 days of fishing. Now in Visakhapatnam right now some boats go up to 30 days, 25 days, but we are planning to unload the fish within 10 to 14 days. Fishing ground 120 miles to 200 miles off. Now in 𝐻𝒃, they are fishing actually in shallow water, targeting small fish which are not good color, not sashimi grade. 30, 40, maximum is 70 miles. Now we are going above 120 miles up to 200 miles to the easy zone. That's where we find high quality sashimi grade fish, but deep water. And if you look at the fishing depth here, you're talking about 1,000 to 2,500 meters depth. That's where you find high quality sashimi grade tuna in the deep water. And next one is fishing time. This is very important. Because of the hydraulic winch, we can pull the line faster. We could be able to do 1 shoot in 6 to 10 hours. Whereas normal system, pulling by hand, nobody knows how long it's going to take, maybe 10, 15, 16, 20 hours. So here's a very advantage with this system. 1 to 2 shootings per day. Normally, long line, as far as I know, in Visakhapatnam, that's where only I have experience. One time a day, that's it. And the next day, if they're tired, they won't be doing it. Following day, they might do it. But here, because of this hydraulic system, if we pull the line faster, we might be able to do 2 shoots, 2-time fishing per day, producing a lot more fish. And hauling time for 600 hooks with the hydraulic winch, 4 to 6 hours. That is the basic time we are planning, maybe a little bit 1 or 2 hours more. Live and frozen bait. Now here in Visakhapatnam, they only carry live bait. What happened? They catch the live bait on the shore, go to the deep sea. When the bait finishes, they comes right back, wasting time, few days to catch the fish. Bait. Now here, we take both live and frozen. Once the live bait is finished, we switch into frozen weight, keep fishing. Onboard processing, and this is the most important aspect of this program, I think, in this system. Processing fish with quality control on board. That is what I don't see here. Spiking, bleeding, gilling, gutting, cleaning, washing, then chilling, icing and storage, all done on board, very professionally, adhering to quality standards. That's where you get your sashimi grade. If you don't follow this, you're not going to get the quality. Unloading and transporting. This is also a very important fact. Unloading under a shade. We are going to unload the fish. We did unload under a shade, not exposing fish to sun. Because when you produce sashimi grade quality fish, you must not export this to sunlight. That's very important. But in 𝐻𝒃, fish comes on the boat, unloaded, it sits on the harbor for 2-3 hours at 90 degrees. It's frying there. So we are not doing that. We have to change that system. And direct transport from boat to reefer truck. From boat straight to the truck. Maintaining temperatures throughout the entire process. The very important key, from the boat until the factory, it's a cool chain. It goes in the cooler. That's very important. Grading. And finally, after we done all that thing, at the plant we do a grading. We take a core sample from the side and they do a tail cut. This is just an illustration of number 1. You can see that is the US higher grade. 2+ also US higher grade. And below that, whatever I haven't marked, they go to European market as loins. Now this is a better example of what you call number 1 sashimi grade, number 1 or 2+. In the US market, this is US grade number 1 and 2+. You know, see, you can see the picture there. The meat has to be red and the core sample has to be red, transparent and good in color, red. That is what you call true sashimi grade. And then by doing this long line, what you can export as fresh products. H&G tuna, first picture, that is going to US market as number 1 and 2+. Then whatever not going to US market, B+ you can cut as tuna loins, that will go to Europe. Then of course you get bycatch swordfish, H&G swordfish, A+ can go to USA. Leftover swordfish, what doesn't meet the US standard, next grade, B+, can cut into loins. It's a huge market in Europe. You can send it as swordfish loins to Europe. Now, frozen and value-added. This is very important. I want to highlight it here. We can do swordfish steaks. Number 1, we ship to USA. Then B+, go to Europe. The next grade, we can either do natural loins or CO-treated tuna loins and CO-treated tuna tuna steaks to US market. There's a big market in the US. So what I'm trying to say, by doing this long line, you can pretty much utilize the whole thing. Maybe 10% will go to the local market. Key points on sashimi grade fish handling: catching the fish alive. Very important, you catch the fish alive. That's where the sashimi comes, because if it's not alive, there's nothing to kill. So it must be alive. Faster processing on board, icing, storage with temperature control from boat to factory, proper grading, careful packing, adhering to quality control guidelines I outlined already. Now here are the results. First voyage we did back in March this year. This is the first voyage. Duration of the voyage is 6 days, but actually it was 5. Now if you look at the total catch, 2,111 kilos. Out of that, 1,057 kilos are yellowfin tuna. Now what you need to look at here is, from that 1,057 kilos, 951 kilos EU grade, that is mean exportable grade, either to USA or to Europe. That is a 93% high quality fish from that 1,057 kgs. If you compare that to 𝐻𝒃, that's reverse. If you get a lot of fish, you might, if you're lucky, get 5 to 10% of good quality fish. 90% is not good. Here, you get 93% of exportable grade fish. That is an outstanding achievement. Doesn't matter where you compare to, either Sri Lanka, you can compare it to Vietnam or Indonesia, they hardly get 50%. So this is a very great achievement. Plus, you can see the size. We are not targeting no juvenile fish. 29 kgs, 90% of the fish are 29 kgs up. The smallest fish were 20 kilos. So that means this is very sustainable fishing method. And then look at the bycatch, swordfish. 95% of the swordfish, either you can send it to USA as A grade, H and G, or as loins to Europe. So you can utilize the whole fish. Now this actually is a testament and proof that this pilot project is successful. We have achieved what we planned to do, and we plan to carry on further. International market prices, this is basic, basic market prices, $6 to $17 a kilo in USA, H&G tuna, #1 grade. Europe, fresh loins, 14 to 15 kilos for loins, but up and down. Then, benefits of long lining. What are the benefits of long lining? Sustainable fishing, no juvenile fish is caught. The other important factor is full traceability. Now the FDA is coming up with new system of implementation of new rules by January. So with this long line system, we can have a full traceability system. Any cash document, whatever the documents they want, compliance can be done with the system. Value-added products, because of you having high quality raw material, of course you can create that steaks, loins, value-added products. Then this is for exporters. This is not only for us as a company. If this thing gets developed, quality raw material for exporters, other exporters can have this quality raw material. They could do the same thing, send it to USA, Europe, steaks, whatever they wish to do. So this is a very huge opportunity for other exporters if we can develop this thing. Then high export, of course, this will increase the export volumes naturally and contribute to the national economy. Advantages of long lining in India, and this is very important. Unexploited deep water. I don't think the deep water in India is exploited beyond 80 miles. Last time we went up to 220 miles. So there's a very good potential to catch a lot of fish in there. Closer fishing ground. Fishing grounds are very close. So it takes 1 or 2 days to go, whereas Sri Lanka, they have to go 15 days. Average trip take 30 days to go and come. Here it's 2 days. Shorter fishing trip. Because of that, you could do the trips within 10 to 14 days. That's a very shorter trip. Then low operational cost. Shorter trip means low operational cost, more profit for the fishing vessels and fishermen. Higher volumes of high quality fish. Because of the shorter trip, you could preserve the fish better. You'll get more volumes of higher quality fish that you can utilize. Challenges, actually these are some challenges we faced at the beginning. Skilled personnel. I don't think you have enough skilled personnel in India to do this type of long lining. And so that's what 𝐻𝒃𝒃 is coming with this pilot project to do training. Also, it is very difficult to have access to international trainers or foreign workers to come here and just give some training or do some fishing. So if government can make an initiative for that, that will be a very big help to develop this industry. Then fishing gears and communication equipment is another issue. Like hydraulic winch and some other equipments are not available. Very difficult to import to India because of the rules and regulations. So this 𝐻𝒃𝒃 and other government institutions can help in that. And the communication equipment. This is a very crucial issue. Getting a satellite phone also very difficult. Now, satellite phone also only can go up to 180 miles in India. Now, I heard that everybody talking about high sea fishing license. I would love to do that, but my question is, if we go to high sea, how am I going to communicate with the boats? Because this satellite phone doesn't work after 180 miles. Then we need SSB radio that they use in Sri Lanka and all over the world, but SSB marine radio is banned in India. So I don't know how we are ever going to the high sea without communication equipment. So the government representatives can look into it and help us. Then maybe we can develop something in the high sea. And lack of land, lack of handling facilities at the harbor. This is one major issue in Visakhapatnam we have. When the boat comes, there's no place to unload the fish. There's no handling facilities to control the temperature or center to chill down or anything. It has to be in the harbor. Harbor also not facilitated. So I'm hoping that 𝐻𝒃𝒃 and the other officials looking into this thing. We have to now transport the fish from the boat all the way down to the factory. Then we have to have a handling facilities. 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 Then we have It is very difficult, can do, but it's not the way to do. So I am hoping that they will look into it. Then the high air freight. This goes to all the other chill exporters also. Because compared to Sri Lanka, the freight rate from India is $2 high to JFK. I can get $5.50 from Colombo to JFK. Same thing goes from Vizag to JFK, $8. You're talking $2.50. That's a huge amount of money when you're comparing making $1.50. Expectations, I would request 1 or 2 more minutes. And establishing a sustainable tuna longline fishery for sashimi-grade tuna in India. Encourage fishermen, boat owners, exporters to join deep water longline fishery. Create a cluster of tuna longline vessels in Vizag. We have 3 boats under the pilot program now, 2 more coming up. By September, October, we'll have 5 boats running under this pilot program. Improve livelihood of fishermen, fishing community, you saw that. Better quality raw material for processing and exporters. Increase export volumes. Create a recognition for Indian sashimi tuna in international market. Everybody told me when I came to India, even my customers in USA, you're never going to ship sashimi grade from India. I say, you watch. Now we did, we are going to keep doing it. Now that is the conclusion of my presentation. I hope if I made any errors or mistakes, I again want to apologize because I'm not a professional speaker or presenter. Thank you for listening to my speech, and you have a good day.